Thank you all for joining our webinar today. My name is Daval. I'm the product manager at UGREEN, and today we'll be looking at something unique that the UGREEN offers. So the partnership that we have in the App Center, it's from Home Assistance. So we're trying to do this webinar to give you some ideas on how to provide additional services like pro installation for like smart home systems. Like nowadays, smart home systems, the popularity of smart home systems is growing. So and we actually have the app available on our App Center. So we wanted to go through and showcase what you can actually do with UGREEN and Home Assistance together. So welcome to Pro Installer Playbook, one hub to rule the home. Today we'll be talking about how Home Assistance, when paired with the UGREEN NASync, can become a single powerful brain for the modern smart home system, covering automation, storage, media, and reliability all in one place. This session is designed to be practical, easy to understand, and useful whether you're pro installer, prosumer, or just someone serious about smart home. So even if you don't have a business that is catering to smart home systems, you may get some ideas on how to provide these additional services to your customers, or this could also be a great unique webinar just to learn about how you can use it for your own home. A quick level set before we dive in. This webinar is built for, again, as mentioned, pro installers and integrators, resellers and MSPs to provide additional services, power users and smart home enthusiasts. And the goal today is simple: show you how to build a reliable, scalable smart home hub that can deploy, manage, and grow over time without juggling 5 different boxes. All right. So let's first take a look at what is or why a smart home. What is a smart home, or what is a home assistance? Traditionally, a home assistance run on things like Raspberry Pi or small mini PCs. So it's a dedicated system that you need to buy. It needs to be a hub that it's a software basically, but you need a computer to run that software, right? So you need to buy like a Raspberry Pi or a small mini PC to run that device off of. That works, but installers quickly hit limits. Running smart home on a NAS can change the game. You get more CPU power, more RAM, and more storage. With UGREEN NAS, even on an ARM-based system, you get about what 8-core CPU with 4 gigs of DDR4 RAM. So that's already very powerful. Additionally, with our higher end systems, Intel platforms, you can get about 10 core systems with 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM. So very powerful hardware that you can run your smart home systems and control many of these systems together. You can consolidate automation, storage, media, and backups into one device. So if you run a Raspberry Pi or a small mini PC, you're limited to just running smart home or your home assistant application. But a NAS is a multi-application device. Not only you can run the home assistance app, but you can also run it as a storage, media. You can back up all your computers and your phones into that single device. You gain the RAID protection, snapshots, and UPS support. So with RAID protection, even if you lose your hard drive, you have all your data safe. So your home assistant keeps running even when you have an actual hardware failure on the hard drive part of it. Snapshots can help you go back in time in case if your smart home messes up or if you have any issues with your application. UPS support provides additional power capabilities even when there is no power at the location, for the NAS at least. Think of a NAS as a central home brain and not just a storage box. All right, why home assistance on a NAS? So let's start with the foundation, home assistance. Home assistance is the world's most popular open source home assistance platform or home automation platform, and it's built around 3 big ideas. Local control, your automations run locally and not in the cloud. Privacy first, your data stays in your home. Flexibility, it works with thousands of devices. And it gives you one unified dashboard for all your devices. Powerful automations and scenes, massive integration support for lighting, HVAC, cameras, AV, and energy monitoring, and more. So you can run all of these devices from one single device. So why UGREEN NAS Sync specifically? UGREEN NAS Sync system is designed to be always on, low power, highly reliable. So again, uh, you don't have to turn these devices off. It's a server that meant to be running all the time. So you can leave the system on, and when there's nothing running on the background, the UGREEN can actually put the hard drive into sleep mode, so it actually saves additional power as well. And it's highly reliable. As I mentioned before, these are compatible systems that we test multiple times before releasing out in the world. So that is the main concern, is reliability. So we want to make sure that these are devices you can rely on. You can run all your devices, all your applications, all your backup in one single device. And as I mentioned, low power. As not only it doesn't take that much power, the device is meant to consume as less power as possible as well. They're virtualization ready, meaning you can run Home Assistant's OS in a VM, or we already have a dedicated app as well, alongside media servers, alongside with media servers, NVRs, and backups as well. We are coming out with our own NVR software that you can actually now start running, hopefully in the Q1 of 2026. So you can also record your cameras, but you can also run media servers with Jellyfin or Plex Media Server. And as I mentioned, you can still do all your backups as well. And it also does all your HA backups, project files, and configuration in the same device. And it's also future-proof as well. You don't need to think about the hardware itself, because these are, as I mentioned, very powerful hardware, and it also has some AI functionalities, especially with photo recognition or photo organization. You can run all of these features on one single device. And also, because it can run virtualization and container, you can actually add additional application that runs on top of Home Assistants, like Home Bridge. So if you don't have anything that is not capable of running on top of Home Assistants can also support other container application that you can actually merge into one. For example, I have a lot of devices that are not capable of running on the home. I have Apple ecosystem at my home, so it's not able to run the HomeKit application, because my hardware, my cameras, my sensors are not HomeKit enabled. But there is an application called HomeBridge that it can actually run on a container that can actually convert these non-HomeKit devices into HomeKit devices. So now your cameras, your sensors are now HomeKit compatible. Now, because HomeBridge is an additional application, and Home Assistants can also connect to HomeBridge, but so because HomeBridge runs on a container or a VM, you need another hardware, but everything can be run on directly on the UGREEN application or UGREEN uh, device. So you can actually run another container on the side while the Home Assistant is running on the same hardware, and you can connect them together. So as I mentioned before, you can run multiple devices at the same time. Again, our devices require hard drives. This is where, no, Seagate. So Seagate is actually one of our sponsors for this particular webinar. So just want to go through the advantage of running a Seagate hard drive with UGREEN NAS devices. Storage matters, right? Especially in a smart home devices that runs 24/7. That's where Seagate IronWolf Pro and UGREEN NASync work together. IronWolf Pro drives are purpose-built for NAS environments. So these are tested and they run directly. These are tested and reliable as well. Again, designed for non-stop operation, high workloads, multi-user access, and you can also get health monitoring tools, 3 years of data recovery services for free that is included in the hard drive. So that's an advantage. 5-year warranty. And again, this combination gives installers and homeowners confidence, not just for capacity, but also reliability as well. And with Seagate IronWolf Pro 30 terabyte and NASync delivers the capacity you need with robust, resilient, and ready for anything. Your content always stays available, protected, and performing at its peak. We have tested that 30 terabyte IronWolf Pro on our drives as well. So for example, even on a 2-base system, you can actually with RAID 1, you can still get 30 terabyte of usable capacity. Imagine that 30 terabyte on a 2-base system. On an 8-base system, you can actually go up to 250 terabyte of usable capacity. With RAID 5 and RAID 6, of course, it's going to lower down a little bit, but at least raw capacity is at least 250 terabytes. So you can imagine having 30 terabyte can give you a lot more room to grow in the future. Again, the synergy between UGREENNAS and IronWolf Pro 30 terabyte is powerful foundation for continuous operation. Again, they're engineered for endurance. These are purpose-built for NAS environment. So IronWolf Pro does not have a maximum number of drives it can run. So like the regular IronWolf can actually support, I think, up to 8 drives at the same on a RAID capable devices, but the Pro are actually built for a scalable platform. So you can actually keep growing even if you have a 16-base system or an 8-base system with no problem at all. And again, store with confidence. So includes with the health management tool, 3 years of data recovery services, and 5-year warranty. So you can see the reliability is always there. Now, let's shift to installers' best practices. So when designing a smart home hub, we recommend choosing the right NAS based off bay count, CPU, and RAM. So for example, if your project requires not just to only to run the smart home, but they also want additional features like media servers, or audio streaming, as well as backups and virtualization. I would recommend something with Intel platform so you can have the capabilities running hardware transcoding. So for example, my personal device at home runs not only the smart home assistant, the home assistant application, but it also runs Plex Media Server. It also runs the Theta application that is built in to the Ugreen NAS. It has a virtualization of VM, of Windows 10 VM running inside of it. So you can see I'm running a lot more devices. So I would actually suggest you use something with Intel platform so you can handle all these applications running at the same time. Network design. So during network designing network properly is a main concern. The IoT devices are separated from the main LAN network. So you have to ensure that your IoT devices, especially the cameras, needs to be on a separate network than from the main network, so it does not block down the main network when streaming multiple cameras at the same time. And because UGREENNAS, most of them come with multiple network ports, you can design to have one network port connect to the internet. The other network port can be your dedicated camera network, so it does not block down the network. Of course, you can use the main network to access all your cameras streaming as well if you want to play back something, but at least you can um, um, you can actually separate them at the same time. Always use UPS, RAID redundancy, and 3-2-1 backup strategy. Even though even though NAS can be considered a backup device, we always recommend a 3-2-1 backup strategy, having 3 copies of the data, 2 different mediums, and 1 offsite. This protects you from major catastrophe. For example, I'm from Los Angeles area, so I'm pretty sure you heard about the Palisade fires. So we had a lot of customers actually, unfortunately, had their businesses in the house burned down because of the fire. And since the NAS was inside that location, they lost that whole hardware. So these natural disasters or man-made disasters as well can cause catastrophe, especially if you don't have an offsite backup. So you always recommend to have a 3-2-1 backup strategy. NAS cannot be considered your only backup option. Having an offsite is very, very important. And create a reference build. So a standard NAS plus drive plus HA setup you can reuse the same hardware in multiple sites. So if you're starting to provide these services for your customers, you can create this build with one NAS, hard drives, and HA application, and you can start providing these all-in-one systems to your customers, and you can start building their smart home systems. So you can start providing this additional services as well. All right, not so. Here comes the advantage of having a NAS. So first of all, one important clarification here: this feature is not dependent on home assistants. Because we're talking about smart home systems, I want to make sure that we also talk about the other features that Ugreen can provide other than the HA feature. So this is the core capabilities of the NAS itself, the Ugreen NAS specifically itself. Using a standard SMB file sharing, the NAS can become a central audio library which systems like Sonos can stream directly off of it. Once the library is indexed, audio can be streamed instantly to any room in the house. So, especially if you have a Sonos systems like Sonos across your house or backyard or living room, you can actually use the SMB services on the Ugreen, and you can connect the app, and you can use the app to stream across multiple locations. So the NAS becomes a central audio library, which systems like Sonos can stream directly. The big advantage of install is simplicity. No extra service required, no cloud dependency, one secure location for storage, streaming, and backup. Home Assist can control or automate audio if you want, but the audio streaming itself works independently, which gives you the flexibility in how you design the system. So a lot of users have their audio downloaded to your local device, right? So you can keep them online using the NAS application itself and have them stream across multiple rooms. Another feature that we provide is direct HDMI port. So you can actually keep your NAS into a living room with next to a large screen TV or a projector. You can actually connect an HDMI port directly to it, and you can actually start streaming directly from the HDMI port. We support up to 4K to 8K HDMI port that is provided with all the licensing fee built in, so you can stream Dolby. You can stream Dolby audio. You can stream no any kind of HDR content. You can stream all of that directly from the HDMI. No need to stream across multiple networks. Just connect it directly from. You can store your library into the NAS, and you can stream directly, or you can play directly from the NAS itself. Again, there's zero latency playback because these are direct. Local high bit rate content because these are directly connected. It's very high bit rate and local content. Fewer devices and remotes. So you can actually use the Ugreen app on your phone to be able to control this and stream it across. It's perfect for home theaters, demo rooms, and high-end installs where simplicity matters. Again, you get a theater application or theater experience, ideally for dedicated home theaters and impact high demo installations. So again, you don't need to set up networking or high-speed networking. You just have a NAS there connected to a TV, just stream directly. No need to have a complex network setup. And again, if you can't connect the TV directly to the NAS, we do have the capabilities of streaming your playback directly from your NAS. So beyond direct playback, NAS can also act as a media core for homes. Thanks to powerful Intel CPUs and Apple you can stream multiple HD content or even 4K contents at the same time. Use apps like the Ugreen Theater application, Jellyfin, or Plex application, and we do support hardware transcoding for Intel platform. So if you're traveling, and let's say if you're in a hotel or airport Wi-Fi and you still want to watch that TV show or the movie or your personal video, and it's not the Wi-Fi is not strong enough, you can just have the NAS convert it live as you play back into a lower quality like 720p or even 480p on a phone, and I can still watch that content. It serves TVs, tablets, phones, and consoles simultaneously. And this is where the NAS truly becomes a central content hub. Again, as I mentioned before, it is still a NAS device at the core. So up to now, we have talked a lot about automation and smart home control, but this is where Ugreen NAS really separates itself apart from running HA on like a mini PC or Raspberry Pi. Because it's not just an automation platform, it's a full fledged infrastructure device for the home or small business. First, it becomes a central backup hub. Back up your Mac with using time machines, PC. You can run scheduled backups. Even your mobile phones can be protected automatically, all in one in a secure location. Next is your personal cloud aspect. You can get secure remote access to all your files, contracts, photos, and media without paying a monthly subscription fee or rely on third-party cloud services as well. So no longer need to pay Google Drive, OneDrive for monthly subscription. Just buy a NAS and store your media directly. We have the apps similar to those services, and without paying a subscription fee, you can store all your data into one single device. For performance-driven users, the NAS can also act as a high-speed file server with multi-gig, like all most of our NAS except for one can come with or does come with 2.5G port built in. But also on the higher end devices like the 6-bay you see in the front and 8-bay and even the all flash can come with 10 gig built in. So large video project, creative assets, or business file can be shared instantly over the network. And finally, versatility. This isn't a single box or purpose box. It can run Docker containers, virtual machines, and additional services alongside the home assistance application. So whether you're an installer designing a smart home, a power user looking to consolidate hardware, the UGREEN NAS becomes your foundation, not just an add-on. All right, so that's it, I think, for all the PowerPoint. I just want to now start with the best part about this presentation is a live demo. So I'm going to switch over my screen. I'm going to start with the live demo. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it looks like I had no audio for, so I was talking, but no audio. All right, let me go back. All right, so I'm going to start over again quickly as well. So as I mentioned before, Home Assistance application can be run directly on the UGREEN application. So if you go to the App Center, you just look for Home Assistance and just search for it, and then you can click on open. It will start and it will open that. It will open up a browser and it will open the Home Assistance application. Now, I'm going to show you a system that is already set up, and I'm hoping that we can quickly go through on how to set up a new system. But let me show you how to use a system that is already set up. So right here you can see under settings, you can see the Home Assistance application that is already set up. I'm going to show you the devices services. You can see all my devices that are set up right here. And you can go to add integration. You can see all these devices that it can actually support. And there are a bunch of these devices, not only devices, but you can also have software services like Amazon. Like you can have a lot more services that it can actually support. With Home Assistance, and because it also supports third-party devices as well, like other devices that let's say if you don't see anything in here, you can actually install HACS and you can actually add additional services as well. Now, going back under integration, you can see right here, the best part about this is now, the major issue I had before when I started this, I used to buy my home assistance, my smart home devices like locks, cameras, without thinking about how to have them into, like how to control them into one single pane of glass. So my locks are from different companies, my switches are from different companies, my smart bulbs are from different companies, my cameras are from different companies. Without having Home Assistance app, my major issue was I had a bunch of these apps on my phone. And it got really confusing on which app to control what and which app to look at my cameras, especially if I had to share this device to my family and I have to explain that what app to use to watch control what device. So it got really confusing to be able to control all of this at the same time. That's where, so once I got my UGREEN NAS and I saw the Home Assistance, I quickly installed that. And now I'm able to combine all of my devices into a single pane of glass. So I can now control everything into one single device, even though all of these hardware from different companies that have no connection together, I can still control them at the same time from a single pane of glass. So if I go to overview, you can see overview gives you everything that your smart home can do, right? So I can create like different rooms like backyard, front yard, living room, and patio, all of these, and I can start adding these devices. I can see right here I have a bunch of like lights, switches, cameras, speakers, and on certain devices you can actually have. So if you have certain camera, like cars, like I have a Tesla car, you can actually control your Tesla car directly from a smart home. So you can see how much you can actually do. You can actually unlock my Tesla car. You can actually turn on heated seats from here. You can honk your car. You can turn on your lights. You can imagine. You can see where the car is actually located right now. Since you if you share your cars, you can control a thermostat. If you have an EV charger, you can actually see how much it's using energy. You can turn on the EV charger. You can turn off the EV charger. If you have like if you want to arm or disarm your house, you can actually do that right here. You can actually control your car's climate control from here directly as well. And you can add additional services like weather services. You got to see where your weather is. You can actually control, or you can actually see from here as well. Um, but as I mentioned, overview can get really confusing because it shows you every single thing you can do with your smart home device. But the best part about Home Assistant is you can actually create your own dashboard. So when you create your own dashboard, you can actually make it a little bit nicer and more easier to see as well. So right here, and you can actually go to edit right here and you actually like you can edit the way it looks. Let me give you a better example. So right here, you can see on my locks right here. Um, I can see I can add which locks this will control. I can see what icon it should use. Um, what kind of icons I can look, just search for lock and had a bunch of icons. So if it's a garage lock, you can actually click on the garage, like garage type lock. Or if you just want to have a standard lock, you can actually have a standard lock. You can make it look much nicer than what it is. And you can also click on layout to see how the icon layout is. If you want to be a bigger icon, more bolder icon, you can also do it right here as well. I'm gonna click save. I can open my garage. I can unlock my doors. I can see my weather forecast. I can control my thermostat. I can see all my lights. So these are all different lights. I have string lights. I have recessed lighting. I have backyard lighting. And you can see I have different icons, so it's easy for me to control. So if I want to turn on the light, I just click on here, and the light is turned on. I can actually control the brightness of it if your switch actually has that feature. Just click on it and it turns off my light. I can also have this single pane of glass to see my cameras. I can see what cameras it is. These are live cameras. I can click on it and will be a live view of that camera. And you can start playing back as well. Um, as I mentioned, I can control my speakers from here. I can stream which speaker I can stream. I can turn on this is my amplifier. I can turn on my amplifier as well. And I can also control that from here as well. I can also control my TVs right here. I can turn on my TV. I can actually open which app if I wanted to as well. I can do all of that from here as well. I can see my door because I have door sensors. My backyard is open right now. I can see that right here. I can see my other doors are closed. Because these are battery devices, I want to know what my battery levels are. So in case if my battery levels are going down for any of my sensors, I can see from here directly. So I don't need to wait for my notification to come from the application. I can just see right here. There's a 25% on my back sliding door. So this is running low. Very soon I'll start. I need to replace this. So from here I can just quickly see which one it is. As I mentioned, I can see my Tesla car sensor. Right here, I can unlock and lock the car door. Uh, and then I can control my temperature as well. I can see my location of my car, and I can also go to history and see where the car was before as well. So I can also control and see what my location is. If I have solar charging, you can actually control, or I can see my solar production for the day, for the hour, my EV charger as well. I don't have it connected, so that's why it's unavailable. I can start and turn on my charger. I can turn off my charger. So you can see the things you can actually do from this smart home controls. And you can go to developer tools. You can actually do, if you know coding, you can actually do a lot more than just what I have shown you simple. Um, I'm just still learning about this, so there's a lot more things you can actually do. Again, Home Assistant is not a Ugreen app. Remember that it's actually a third-party app that that you can actually install on the Ugreen. We support this and we added this in our App Center. So let me show you also another uh, like a quick way also as well, like on an iPad. Now, if you have an iPad or like a Google tablet or any kind of tablet, you can actually uh, install the Home Assistant application on that, and you can actually mount this. I'm gonna hopefully I can share my screen. All right. All right, so it's going to be something similar, but you can see right here, you can actually, this is the application right here from my iPad. This is the iPad that you can actually see right here. And now I mount this iPad onto a wall, and I have like a whole hub directly from here. So if I wanted to, so this is mounted on the wall. Imagine when you come into your house and you have this iPad mounted on your wall, you just click on your the lights. You can turn on, turn off the lights directly from that wall tablet directly as well. Or you can just have this tablet, you can have this tablet, just laying around and somebody wants to control your house, just give this tablet and you can start controlling the whole house directly from here. And you can see right here, it's the same exact, it looks exactly the same, but it's more an application. It's more very easy to use as well and very nice. And this is, and you can make it much more nice. You can change the background right here. This is different background I have, but you can actually change a background to your whole house. You can see under maps as well where your house is located, all of that directly from here. And as mentioned, so that's a quick overview of Home Assistant. I also want to show you the Sonos application. As I mentioned before, Sonos um, supports streaming directly from your NAS, right? So for example, now on your systems, if you go to settings and you go to music library. I need to log in. Let me see if I can log in. Give me 1 second. I hope I have the password saved. That's well, luckily I have the password saved. So I have added my media library, which is on my IP. You can see the IP address slash multimedia slash music, but you can add a shared folder. You just put in the IP address slash the folder name and the username password for your NAS, and that's it. Once you added that, the Sonos will start building an index or indexing the folder, and once it's done that, uh, you can just go back in the main application and you can click on the music library and you can see you can go to folders, click on the folder, and then you can see these are my folders right here, and I just click on here and it will start playing back on which I only have one speaker, but you can actually control which speaker you wanted to play back onto. So, and you can see it's going to play back on that particular speaker. But if you have multiple rooms, you can play back on different rooms. Since Sonos can also do it understands what kind of library it is, you can actually go under like artist or songs or input in playlists. You can create your own playlist as well directly from Sonos. I just want to quickly show you Sonos application and how to add this into your Sonos application as well. Now, I'm going to stop streaming directly from here. I'm going to go back to my computer. My hope is to show you how to set up a new smart home from scratch. So let me share my screen again. All right, so I'm gonna log into another NAS. Let's perfect. I remember password. All right. So as I mentioned before, to install Home Assistance, you go to this is a fresh new install. So go to Home App Center and look for Home Assistance. As I mentioned, Home or Home Assistance. Click Install. So first, it's going to ask you the associated folders, right? During installation, you can see which volume you want to install your app. So if you have SSD volume, you can install the Home Assistant and the SSD application and the Docker app as well, where you want it to. So for faster control, you can actually install an SSD, or you can actually install it um, on HDD folder as well. And on the configuration path, where do you want to save this configuration? So you can actually create a special folder. Looks like I don't have a folder, so I'm going to create a folder first. I need to create a shared folder first. So I'm going to create a folder. Here I can see the HA folder. I can create subfolders as well if I wanted to as well. But once you have created that folder, click confirm and click install. It's going to wait to install. I think it's installing the Docker app first. Yeah, it's installing the Docker app because it's still a Docker in the background, but it's just an easier way to install as an application. So it's going to install the Docker app. Once the Docker app is installed, it's going to start installing the Home Assistant application. So give it a minute more. Now, if you guys have any questions, you can start asking them on the Q&A section. And once I'm done with the demos, I'll start asking the questions. Oh, sorry, start answering the questions. All right, so while this is getting installed, there's a question from Frank. Is which UGREENNAS is currently our top seller? And can you show me the image of it? Yes. Jonathan has asked the same question again. It's the 480 plus. No, the 4800 plus. I'm going to show you that that NAS photo once I share my screen again. But it's a really it's a nice application. So NAS is a great NAS, a small 4-bay NAS that is that has 10 gigabit connectivity, 2 NVMe drives, and an Intel. I think it's a Gold Intel Pentium Gold 8505 processor. It's a 5-core processor that has transcoding capabilities. So it's kind of an all-in-one device that can actually do a lot more than just being a NAS. As I mentioned before, it's really powerful. Has 4K 60 hertz HDMI port, 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM with maximum of 64 gigs of RAM, one 2.5 gig port, and one 10 gig port. So it's a really powerful hardware and capable device. That's actually a bestseller right now, and a great price point as well when it comes to compared to other competition as well. It's almost done installing. It's a big application, so it does take a few minutes to install. So you gotta be all right. It's almost done installing. Keep forgetting to unmute myself. So there's two things. First of all, I want to go back to the Q&A section. The Q&A section, as I mentioned before, sorry, I forgot to mention about this, but we're gonna wait. We were waiting on the Q&A section to stop, but this is the best time to also mention this because Seagate is sponsoring this webinar. We're gonna actually have a giveaway for 2 SSD drives, both from Seagate, for people who are gonna ask questions. So if you want to participate on this particular giveaway, please ask as much as questions as possible, and we'll announce the winner on the follow-up email after this particular webinar. Give us about a day or even early next week, we'll announce the webinar winners for the drives. So you have 2 drives, one for each person who joins who asks question. So 2 drives you can ask. 2 drives you can actually. Sorry, 1 drive you can actually win out of this particular webinar. Going back here, I think Frank wanted to see a photo of this particular device. So as I mentioned, we have 2 versions of the 4800 DXP 4800. One is the Non-Plus. Non-Plus is a N100 series processor, but this is actually a bestseller, the 4000 Plus, because it comes with Intel Pentium Gold 8505, 5-core processor with 10 gigs of built-in port and a 2.5 gig additional and a 4K HDMI port. So you can see right here the photos of that. It supports up to 136 terabyte with 30 terabyte on the 4 drives, and there's 2 M.2 drives, 8 terabyte on each drive. So as I see the ports right here, 2 LAN ports, one 2.5 gig, one 10 gig port, USB ports, and an HDMI port as well. Has a USB 10 gig USB-C port, SD card port, as well as a USB-A port, a 10 gig port. So extremely fast 10 gig ports in the front. So plenty of ports for your needs. let's go down to so you have the specifications of that. Again, 12 gen, 5-core, 6-thread processor. So it's a 5-core, 6-thread processor. You can actually um, run multiple virtualization as well. 8 gigs of DDR5 base RAM, but it has 2 slots. You can actually expand up to 64 gigs. All right, so let me go back to the Q&A. Yeah. What kind of smart devices can I run on the NAS? So Frank had a follow-up question, but I'm gonna finish the other question from Cruz. I think Cruz. Yeah. So we can run, as I mentioned, there's no limitation on Home Assistant. Home Assistant, and because Home Assistant is a lot of people use it. There's a huge community of people that actually start building like other. So if you're, let's say for example, the Home Assistant already has built-in support for like Samsung cameras or Skillage. Uh, Locks or like not Lutron switches as well. These are what I use. They have a built-in support for that, but because it's a community-based system, there's a huge community of people who develop additional. So if the Home Assistant doesn't have this, you can actually look up Google. I would say Google your name of your hardware, smart hardware, and just put Home Assistant. You'll definitely see something come up. Somebody would be supporting that and will be able to provide that support for that. You may have to use like Dockers to able to support this additionally, but you can definitely add it one way or the other. So it's a huge support for it. I think over 1,000 of devices that are supported already by Home Assistants, but additionally, another 1,000 devices supported by third-party services. So huge support for that. Another question from JT is, should I use NVMe SSDs for read-write cache or a separate storage volume? It actually depends upon you. Depending upon what kind of application you are planning to use. Uh, for example, if you have a lot of like random, it's like if you, let's say for example, if you have virtualization that you want to you're running a VM, or if you have a lot of applications on your NAS, I would suggest using it as storage. So if you use it as storage, you can actually run the VM directly on the virtual machine, so you get faster latency, faster response, and also apps also get faster response as well. But if you have a lot of random applications that you're not sure that you're gonna be using, you can actually just have it as cache. So the cache will start dumping the data that you're actually using into the SSDs, and then it will dump back the data if you're not using it. So SSD caching, if you're not sure what kind of application you're using, but if you know, like if you have virtualization application, a certain application you're actually constantly using, maybe putting in an storage pool would be a better option. Again, this all required about are all by your needs. I'm still trying to install the Home Assistant, but if I'm gonna try one more time. If not, then we'll just stop this webinar. Um, Thank you all for joining, but give me a few more minutes, okay? And keep the Q&A coming. Oh, Frank had another follow-up question on that. How much RAM? So it's based 8 gigs of RAM that comes with it, and you can actually expand up to 64 gig on that Intel because because it's Intel Gold, Pentium Gold, you can actually go up to 64 gigs of max DDR5 RAM. Another question I have from SC is, how do I set up Thunderbolt 4 bridge? Can I edit 4K directly off of the NAS? Actually, yes. Now, the the Thunderbolt port on the Ugreen is very simple to use. You just plug in the cable, the NAS, and the computer uh will set up all of this automatically. So you don't have to worry about how to set this up. Just connect the cables, and it will set up the bridge automatically. It will create like a Thunderbolt over IP on your Mac computer or a Windows computer, and it's gonna set up that on the NAS on the NAS as well. And the only thing you need to do is under the NAS. Let's see if I can show you that real quick. The control panel and the network connection. All right, so you can see I connected my Thunderbolt computer to the NAS, and it's gonna start creating a Thunderbolt connection between the NAS and the computer. And you're gonna see that IP address. You just put in the IP address on the computer into like the Samba connection. So if it's a Mac computer, you can just click on Go and connect to connect to server and just put SMB 169.254.20.1. Make sure Samba service is not enabled. So and so once I enable that. All right. Once you enable that, once you put in the IP address, that's it. It's gonna start connecting to that, and you can start accessing it. And it'll be just a network connection folder on the computer. You can dump your data onto that, and you can start editing directly off of that. So that's how easy it is to set up Thunderbolt connectivity on that device. All right. Any other questions? All right. We're gonna wait about a minute more. If there's no further questions, I'll thank you all for joining our webinar and giving us the time. We're going to have another webinar in mid of January next year. So hopefully to see you all over there as well. All right, so if any, so it looks like there's no further questions. So thank you all for joining our webinar. You guys have a great day, and you can see on the screen the email and the website. If you guys want to contact us for anything, just email us and we'll be happy to help you. All right, so thank you all for joining our webinar, and you guys have a great day. Thank you.